Okay, so today we're going to focus on something that we all struggle with. It's something that we all can deal with, right? Destructive behavior. So today we're going to focus on releasing destructive behavior and identifying what can be destructive behavior. So close your eyes and just allow your shoulders to relax, allow your torso to relax, and your pelvis and your thighs and your knees and your ankles and your feet. Just allow everything to feel grounded in this moment. Just observe your breath. Inhale and the exhale. Inhale. So we're going to take some intentional breaths. So you're going to inhale for 3 breaths. 1, 2, 3, and then hold, and then exhale for 3 breaths. Inhale. 3 breaths, right? And then hold, and then exhale. 1, 2, 3. Good. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold, and then exhale. 1, 2, 3. Again, we're going to inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold, and then exhale. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And then exhale. 3, 2, 1. Great. And if you're just joining us, then welcome. We're going to be talking about behaviors that are destructive and how we can identify those behaviors. So what does that mean, destructive? That sounds so dark, right? It sounds so, I don't know, negative. It's not negative, because this is how we grow and how we learn. So destructive can be something that's not serving you, something that doesn't make you feel good. So I'll just explain an example, because I always feel like examples help. So when I would get angry at my daughter or my son, I would yell at them, and I would yell at them. And then after that, I would feel bad about the behavior, like almost like yeah, I would say it was abusive, like for me to feel the guilt and remorse about yelling at them, because then I would feel the regret, right? I would feel bad about myself. And so that's a destructive behavior. So what can you identify as something that is a destructive behavior for you? Maybe it is anger, right? Maybe you have explosive anger. That's something that I struggled with. I grew up with a family that was very explosive. My father is just I had a hot temper. My mom would communicate by yelling, and so I yelled. That's how I learned. But I'm unlearning that behavior. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm unlearning it. But I could see the pattern, right? That's the first step in eliminating the pattern, is by addressing the behavior. So I want you to identify. Just close your eyes. Your eyes should be closed, but keep your eyes closed. And just continue to breathe and identify what could be the behavior that is destructive. It could be that you don't feel good about, that doesn't fill you with joy, right? There's something that you have identified that does not serve you. What is it? What is that destructive behavior? How can you identify it? And I want you to see an experience where you have exhibited that behavior. Where have you exhibited that in an interaction, in a moment? Where have you shown that behavior? Right. Another behavior I'm not proud of is I get really, it's embarrassing. I get really angry sometimes when I'm driving at other people, and I will just be like, F you, I will say F you, like, and I'll scream it sometimes and I'll be so mad and I'll give them like the finger. Like, I get really offended in cars, or if someone's driving like really slow, I'll just be like, who are you? You know, um, so I have also anger issues in cars. I sound like a real jerk right now, right? I'm just being honest, and I'm working on all this. So another behavior that, again, I don't feel good about after I exhibit that, right? I don't feel good about that. So I want you to see yourself in a situation. Maybe you don't have any, and you're like some sort of deity, God that we should all bow to. But most likely you probably have a few, right? A few circumstances in your life, maybe many, that you have done something destructive. And maybe you have some sort of addiction that you are dealing with. It could be gambling, food, alcohol, porn. I mean, that's a destructive behavior, right? You probably don't feel so good about it after you do it, right? If you overeat, or do some gambling, or drinking, that is, it's good to identify that, especially as we move into the holidays, where so like addiction is on the rise. Domestic abuse gets on the rise during the holidays, because people feel uh, it brings up a lot for people around family, right? Family, because the holidays are all about family. But if your family is um, not a Hallmark family, if they're not this typical family that you think that your family should be, if they're dysfunctional, then the holidays can bring up a lot of stuff. Like, I don't spend the holidays with my family because they're dysfunctional and they don't even get together, right? So, but in the past, I tried with all that, but it wasn't healthy. So just identify what it is, and just observe it, right? That's the first step, observing it. And how would it feel to you if you eliminated this behavior? How would it feel to you if you eliminated that behavior? How would you feel if that left you? How would that make your body feel? I want you to feel the feeling of how that would make your body feel. Would that make your mind feel? How would that make your mind feel? How would that make the people around you feel? How would that make the people around you feel? How would that make your soul feel? How would that make your soul feel? That's not what our soul wants for us, right? It's not the God consciousness. That's not that higher plane of thinking and being and acting, right? You always want to take the higher ground. So how can we do that, right? And not stoop low. There's more for us, that we expect more for ourselves. That's why we hold ourselves accountable to these things. Again, we're going to inhale for 3. 1, 2, 3, and then exhale for 3, 2, 1. Inhale. hold, and then exhale. 3, 2. Just begin to observe the breath. We're just going to come to a few minutes of meditation based on what we had just talked about. So whether that resonates for you in this meditation or not, just allow yourself to sit with yourself right now. And the last part of the meditation, we're going to say some affirmations to ourselves. So you do not need to repeat them out loud. You can just repeat them in your mind. And this is going to work on the destructive behavior. This is going to work on the reducing and eliminating the destructive behavior. Okay, so I want you to identify what the behavior is. So if it's anger, whatever it is, so identify what it is. And say to yourself, I release my issue with blank because it does not serve me. I release my attachment to fill in the blank because it does not serve me. I release my reaction of because it doesn't serve me. I cannot afford to stay attached to this behavior because it doesn't serve me and it doesn't serve those around me. I can detach myself from the behavior and objectively see it when it happens. That is the first way that I can work on eliminating it, is by identifying it in the moment so I don't become a victim of it. If you're not aware of it, you're a victim of it. When you're aware of it, at least you're aware of it, and you can work on eliminating / reducing it. Doesn't mean it's ever going to go away necessarily, right? That's the journey, but the spiritual practice is identifying it. First, that's first things first. Okay, so open your eyes. Again, I know it's a little heavy, but this is good stuff. And never a better time to work on your destructive behaviors. Never a better time than right now. So please share your destructive behaviors with me. No, you don't have to, but I would love to know privately if you ever wanted to share. Because sometimes just by saying to another person, you don't have to say it publicly, but super interesting to know others, because I shared mine with you, which are a little bit embarrassing. So okay, thanks guys, have a beautiful, beautiful day. Okay, thank you
Thank
for,
you, Vera.
yeah, thanks for the honesty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.